Hamilton is a musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda. You may know him as the songwriter for Moana, or the annoying-faced Cockney from Mary Poppins Returns. What I didn't know until seeing this show on Disney+, having never seen any part of it before, is that Lin-Manuel Miranda is a genuine musical genius. The show is about, and I quote from Wikipedia, American founding father Alexander Hamilton, inspired by the 2004 biography Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The show draws heavily from hip-hop, as well as R&B, pop, soul, and traditional style show tunes. And it casts non-white actors as the founding fathers and other historical figures. The use of rap here is not a mere gimmick. Its function is to convey the beauty and importance of words, and anyone who's seen it will recognize that the form is indispensable to the substance of the show, as is the anachronistic casting, which can fairly be interpreted as a desire to fold the broadest range of audiences into the sense that they have a stake in the American story. And by suggesting that the story would be the same regardless of the background of the players, there's something of a suggestion of transcendent inevitability about America's foundation. Legacy and nationhood are all over this. It's also great entertainment. Now, the show describes a very bloody and eventful revolution with some degree of spirit and exuberance. And at first glance, you might think this is designed to fit squarely with the approval of those who see the current American emergency as a clear-cut case of the passionate and oppressed versus the martial conservatives and their alleged mouthpieces, the articulate moderates. But smashing the system in 1775 is a very different thing to smashing the system in 2020. Today, smashing the system, according to the quasi-Marxist utopians who profess a genuine desire to do so, means entirely rejecting the song of America that Hamilton implores us to join in with. Revolution may be desirable from some perspectives, but revolution, as it is being currently presented by progressive activists, means that the American story, as it is, will have to be thrown out with the bathwater. I dare say I'm not altogether okay with that. So what can we do? What can we do to prevent meltdown? Well, I can only offer a lay opinion, but I think that desires for change are being drafted into service by people whose agendas do not reflect the essential conflict and who do not recognize the existing overlap of sentiment that is there to be built upon. If you take a good look at the conversation that's happening around good faith actors from all political backgrounds, then I think you'll see that the real divisions, the national and continental divisions, are not between racists and anti-racists or progressives and anti-progressives, because most thinking people already agree that there are dangers and problems attendant to human society. No, the real divisions are between people with the same objectives but different solutions. You might look at the media and think that there's a fundamental distinction, a fundamental moral distinction between the left and the right, pointing to the difference in public image between the US and, say, New Zealand. But these are only transitory representations of left and right. In their official manifestations, both the conservative and the progressive impulses have been responsible for all kinds of achievements and atrocities, and probably will continue to do so. At the fundament, the left and right are expressions of very basic impulses, simple but complex. It's reducible to this. Left says go, right says stop. And that's it. That's all you need to know. Yay. Okay, well, we could do with some detail here, and for that I will refer you to Jonathan Haidt's memorable, informative, and entertaining TED Talk on the moral roots of the left and right, which is linked in the description. Please do watch it. It's a fresh, brisk, and cleansing walk through Politics Park. Entrenched political camps need to recognize that if society is going to be improved lastingly, then everyone, left, right, and centre, is going to want to have a stake in that. They're going to need to be offered a stake in that for any plan to really take off. And this is where you have this explosion of different strategies and priorities. And that's where things get genuinely knotted. And it's often the case that people would rather resort to militant identities than risk being touched by dreaded moral confusion. The real conflict, the horizontal conflict that stretches from one end of democracy to the other, is not about what it is we need to improve. It's about how we go about improving it. You can help people meet across these divides if you can come to the table with a sense of other people's basic desires. a sense of what relatable human impulses are being expressed through their persona, rather than a baggage of distrust based on their surface affiliation. If you can do this, even in a small way, then you stand a good chance of doing something that down the line will actually avert violent conflict. Who knows what disasters you've already prevented in your lifetime, just by avoiding quick, poorly reasoned decisions. People are impatient, often very understandably so. They'll call for immediate and sweeping action. But the time for comprehensive remedies was centuries ago. All we can do now is mitigate with the little and late application of compassion and reason. We can't be cured. Arguably, we were never meant to be cured. But we can prevent the future premature disassembly of civilization. The call is for people with a thoroughgoing vision, people who are willing to commit to outcomes they themselves will not live to see. The victims of future wars are asking you to start negotiations today.